She said it like she practiced it 100 times. "You're dead to me." The fork slipped from my hand and hit the plate with a sharp metallic click that somehow sounded louder than her voice. The whole room seemed to inhale at once. One nervous gasp pulled from every chest. My brother stared down at his potatoes. My aunt fussed with a napkin that didn't need fixing. No one looked at me, not a single pair of eyes except hers. Cold, satisfied, I didn't say a word. I just leaned back in my chair and studied her face the way you study something you finally stopped being afraid of. That was the moment I decided, quietly and calmly, that I was done with all of it. But endings always start somewhere, and mine began long before Christmas dinner turned into a stage. People say you never forget the first person who teaches you what love is supposed to feel like. I remember her laugh when I was little. How she'd tuck my hair behind my ear with soft, distracted gentleness. She used to hold my hand crossing the street. She used to listen. She used to call me her miracle. Somewhere along the line, that title changed. Miracle turned into burden. Burden into disappointment. Disappointment into a target. She never needed a reason. Some people just carve themselves sharper and use whoever's closest. I spent years making excuses, stress, grief, the past always giving her an out. But you can only rename poison for so long before it finally does what it's meant to do. And she did. It started small. A comment here. A correction there. A joke at my expense that everyone else was supposed to laugh at. I brushed it off. Families tease, right? But then her words grew teeth. Quiet conversations I wasn't supposed to hear. Her voice dipping to a whisper when I walked into the room. My brother giving me pitying looks he never dared voice. My aunt stepping between us like it was casual. And then came the message a text meant for my brother but sent to me. "I'm done pretending. She's pathetic. I don't want her around anymore." No punctuation. No hesitation. Just raw truth typed fast and angry. I read it twice. My hands didn't shake. I only felt something inside me shift into place. Like I'd been holding up a heavy picture frame for years and finally let it drop. I didn't confront her. Confrontation is a gift. It means the person still matters. Instead, I watched. I watched how she used me for convenience, for money, for the image of being a good mother. I kept track of every insult she thought I didn't hear. Every holiday she twisted. Every story she lied about when she thought I wasn't listening. My whole life had been one long reaction. That night, I stopped. I became quiet, strategic, patient. Revenge doesn't need rage, it needs accuracy. And once love dies, it frees up a lot of space for precision. First, I cut off the money she'd gotten used to. No warning. No explanation. Silence hits harder when it hits the wallet. Then I slipped out of the family group chats, not dramatically. Just one person leaving a room they no longer belonged in. I blocked her and unblocked her sometimes, just long enough for her to see updates. My new job. My new apartment. My life growing without her. Then came the final step. I reassigned everything: medical choices, legal matters, beneficiaries to someone else. Not her. I told the family quietly, simply, the way you'd pass along a weather report. Every cord she tied to me, I cut. Not with fury, just with scissors. Which brings us back to Christmas. She delivered her line like a queen passing down a sentence. "You're dead to me." I almost smiled, not because it hurt, but because she really thought she was hitting first. I stood up slowly, pushed my chair in, and looked at her with a calm she didn't expect. "You already buried me," I said softly. "You just never noticed." I climbed out. Confusion flashed across her face. Then fear, small but unmistakable. I leaned down so only she could hear. "You wanted me gone," I whispered. "Now you get to live in a world where you don't have access to me at all." And I walked out. For the first time in my life, no one followed her. They followed me. Weeks later, she started calling from different numbers, then blocked ones, then not at all. People only apologize when they think there's something left to gain. She had nothing left to take, and I had nothing left to give. The strange thing about being dead to someone is that once you accept it, the grieving stops. You start living. She wanted a ghost. What she got was my absence, more permanent than any death she could ever declare.